Hey, what's going on, my friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and today I'm going to share with you 5 things I think you should know about the powerful full moon we have here on December 29th, 2020. We're in a new energy as of December 21st. A lot of you probably felt it. Maybe not on that day, but generally speaking now, we are existing in a higher frequency energy, very noticeably so, much more light, much more expansive, and much more forgiving, much more supportive. And it's going to allow our lives going forward to unfold in a much more graceful, painless, and synchronistic sort of way. And it's an amazing time to be alive. And this full moon is kind of really putting a punctuation mark or an explanation point on this new energy, really making it more evident and more known to everybody. Okay? So anyway, number 1, I wrote down your comeback. Sometimes, in fact, quite a bit, I would say, we go through these periods during the course of our spiritual journey of regression, where we find ourselves reliving, replaying out old patterns, old cycles, feeling old feelings that we had long thought and hoped we were done with and had transcended successfully. And then to our own disappointment, here we are, caught up in the grips of another cycle, a relapse, if you will. And during these times, especially as fairly critical spiritual people upon ourselves, it's very easy to be very hard and harsh and like intolerant with ourselves. And that guilt, that self-punishment can really weigh us down and prolong these cycles. But these cycles of perceived regression, they have a very powerful significance and have a very important purpose. And that's to help you come back, bounce back. Just like on a trampoline, you go down and you pop back up. The problem with a lot of people, myself included, is when we go down, we hold ourselves down. We feel we deserve to be down in the dumps and in our lower frequency energies, stewing in our emotions, resentful for ourselves. But this full moon is here to bounce you back up. You just have to allow it to bounce you back up. And you'll find that you can look back and that period of relapse can really be seen more clearly as a catalyst for you bouncing forward in life in a very powerful way, carrying a tremendous amount of momentum behind you. Whatever that means for you. And I'll give an example for me, kind of a simple example. So as I've spoken about, for many years, I've been an avid meditator. I'm a big fan of meditation. Every morning I wake up and I meditate, whether I want to or not. Well, I've been really busy these last 3 or 4 months, and my meditation practice dwindled and then completely disappeared. And I felt the effects. I was living life way more in my head, way more just feeling very ungrounded and like overwhelmed and racy and unorganized, and I just had a lot of stress in my life. And anyway, I finally just forgave myself. I said, Victor, it's okay, let's just try again. And once I sort of made that decision to forgive myself, I found myself reattracted to this old book I used to read called AYP, Advanced Yoga Practice. It's awesome. I can't recommend it enough. I used to follow these meditation techniques back in 10 years ago, and they're so powerful. And I find myself like a little kid, as if I'm just beginning my journey, just totally re-enthused about my daily meditation practice, and it's going better than ever. I'm getting deeper than ever before, and I do it because I want to. I do it naturally. And I have such a momentum going for me that was directly, again, sort of catalyzed by my relapse, by my period of indiscretion. So if you can just be gentle with yourself, just like one of my favorite spiritual teachers, Thich Nhat Hanh, he's a beautiful man. And one of his big messages is to love your pain as if it were a young, innocent child. The other day, yesterday, my son Lucas, we got him this little Fortnite gun for Christmas, and he shot me in the face with it. It was an accident. right? And I got ticked off and I yelled at him. I took it away. But I'm not holding a resentment for him because I know he's a little kid. It was an honest mistake. He was caught up in the moment and he just made a mistake. And it's not going to be helpful for me to harp on Luke and to punish him and to remind him of the time he shot me in the face with a Nerf gun or whatever. It was a quick recognition. You shouldn't have done that, Luke. I'm taking the gun away. And then within 10 minutes, we were hugging and loving each other like always. And that's, if we can do that to ourselves, we can bounce back quickly. Number 2, a new energy. As I mentioned, far more expansive and supportive than ever before. You might find yourself just filled with creative passion. And just, it's almost like, even me, I have to kind of remind myself that we are in a new time, that the past doesn't have to repeat itself. Our mind is very good at recognizing patterns. So anytime we do anything whatsoever that even slightly reminds us of a pain of the past, our mind is very quick to jump in and put the brakes on and sabotage ourselves. And we live this way as human beings for thousands of years, most of us many, many, many lifetimes on earth, repeating these karmic, painful cycles that we're now waking up to, like the memories of. So nearly anything happening in our life can remind us of some type of past experience that we didn't like. So it's very easy to just be so hesitant to do anything or to have these fearful sort of connotations present themselves. But need I remind you and myself, we are living in a new energy. This is the time to transcend all of that. But it's so foreign to us, it takes some getting used to. So what helps me is a little mantra, if you will, or incantation that I heard my good friend Melanie Beckler. She's an awesome YouTuber as well. You should check her out. And she said this thing, let it be fun and easy. For the longest time, I had this written on my big whiteboard in my house, my office. Let it be fun and easy. Reminding myself this process, this journey, this new adventure can, if I allow it to be, fun and easy because we're living in a new time. We don't need to learn lessons in such a harsh way anymore. This transition we're going through is about moving on from that. It's about living life, learning lessons in a new, lighter way. And sometimes it just helps to be reminded of that it can be fun and easy if you choose to allow it to be. Number 3, it's go time. A lot of you probably already know what I mean by that because your spirit's saying, you're right, it is go time. What I mean by go time is that a lot of you folks, come to find, are sitting on these inspired creations, this raw creative potential that I'm finding a lot of people are just afraid to let out, to put out, to create. But it's go time. This sort of was inspired yesterday. I ran a guided past life regression session. Excuse me, some of you might have heard about it. And one of the most common things that kept coming up are people sharing their experiences in other lifetimes where they spoke up, where they acted upon their creative inspirations, and in some sort of way, they were traumatically suppressed. Because at that time, in those times, the world wasn't really ready for the high frequency messages and art and so forth that you have the capability of bringing into the world. So a lot of us have been teachers, have been spiritual workers in many lifetimes. And there's a lot of trauma there for a lot of us. And not that aside, whether you want to buy into that or not, I don't blame you. If you don't, it's okay. It's also hard to put forth our creations because of just the way the world is currently, the way people think, the way our friends and family might view some of the things we're doing. And also just the creative process in general for everybody is challenging. It's a stretch. It causes a great deal of vulnerability. And the blocks, the fears, the doubts, they're there for all of us. And it's hard. It's hard. I was listening to this podcast with one of my favorite comedians, Jerry Seinfeld, and he looks at himself as a writer. And I use the word writer in this context as a metaphor for a creator. And he says, he was talking to Tim Ferriss. He said, Tim, writing is the hardest thing in the world to do. He said, every day I wake up and I write something, I give myself so much encouragement, so much nurturing, because I know how hard it is to do. It's the hardest thing in the world to do. So I know a lot of you are holding back on these creative passions that want to be expressed, that like you might even feel something wants to come through, but you're afraid. There are the blocks, there are the naysayers, and that's okay because it is hard. But I know for me, just hearing that other people struggle with this too. This is hard for everybody. It's not just Victor. It's not that I just have a lot of inner work to do and I need to get over the fear and get over the insecurities. It's that most people feel this. And once I learned that, it was like, okay, well, if most people feel this and I see a lot of people doing it anyway, maybe I can do it anyway. And I realized that's the case. I can express myself anyways, in spite of my fear, in spite of my doubt, in spite of my insecurities. And so can you. Number 4, speaking up and keeping your dreams to yourself. Totally big contradiction there. Let me explain. Speaking up. This is a powerful time to really establish boundaries within your relationships, within your family, your co-workers, and even your life situation for some of you. It's perfect. The people in your life that trigger you are perfect. They're whatever we have in our life, especially the things that drive us bananas, including the people, are perfect manifestations to make us aware of things we're holding within ourselves. And there are lessons in every frustrating encounter you have with another person. And right now is the time that these lessons might start to be more obvious and you can learn them. And then oftentimes in learning these lessons, the last step to really ground in the fact that you're ready to move on and transcend this relationship cycle you may have been playing out for a long time is to set boundaries and to speak up. And to know you're valid, to know you're worthy, to know you matter, to know you have the right to be heard, to be happy, to be content, to be free, to pursue your passions and to live your life. And we live in a world with a mixed bag of vibrations. And the higher yours get, the more you're going to create reactions in other people. And it's not easy. And that's where this next part comes in, keeping your dreams to yourself. Going back to being it's go time, it's time to pursue your passion, to express yourself. It's hard, as I mentioned. And a lot of times we unfortunately don't find ourselves in a life situation where there's a lot of supportive people. If you do, then you're extremely lucky and it's a rare situation. Most of us have a lot of naysayers in our life, family, co-workers, people we know that think our ideas are weird or stupid or a waste of time or they're not gonna make us money, so we shouldn't even consider it, or they're irresponsible or reckless. And going for it is hard enough as it is. What I found in my own journey is I learned to keep my dreams to myself. I learned to be my own cheerleader. Thank goodness I had a supportive wife, but that was pretty much it for a long time. And I learned that, you know what? I don't need the support. I don't need the validation of anybody. What I know to be true is very obvious and I can feel it on an intuitive sense. And I've come to trust that. And to know that I can have that trust and then easily start questioning myself when I start getting negative feedback from other people. So I learned to keep it to myself or to be wise with who I share it with and to not need other people's validation. So anyway, you might find yourself, getting triggered and having just different relationship circumstances come up that require you learn the lesson, set the boundary, and demonstrate wisdom in all of your relationship affairs. And if you can do that, it being go time, it will be go time. It will be go time for you. You will bounce up like that trampoline in a brand new way. And you might trigger some people. You might have some people, gnawing at your heels to try to pull you back down, but you're going to have so much momentum, and this full moon's going to help you that it doesn't matter. You're going to blast forward. And number 5, support from above. Support from your divine counterparts, your spirit guides, your star family, your own higher wisdom. Support from the whole of creation. The winds are now at your back. Those feelings, those intuitive urges to express, create, bring forth, share, they're not even coming from you and your mind. They're coming from the source. They're coming from God. They're coming from the universe. They're coming from just the love energy that we all are all created from. And when you do your best and put that forward as best you can, it's okay to slip around and slip up and to be imperfect and to have the naysayers and the doubts and the critics and your own self-judgments and all the blah, blah, blah that comes with it, because you don't have to do it alone. There is support when you do this. Synchronicity, opportunity, etc. presents itself when you just take that first step forward. And what I mean by support from above, I mean that in a sense literally. We are living in a time where connecting with our spirit guides and our star family especially is going to become a lot more real, a lot more relevant, a lot more just part of our day-to-day experience. You might even be getting messages right now through synchronicity, in your dream time especially. And it's a time where the veil is super thin and you don't have to walk this path alone. There is so much support for you, and it's not just something I'm saying that you have to believe in. It's something you're going to be experiencing for yourself. But in order to get that support, you must take that first step. The universe and all of its power is literally just waiting for you. But you're a co-creator, and these things that have the potential to come through you and enrich not only your life but other people's lives, it's a co-creative effort. You have to meet the universe halfway. That's what I've learned. When you meet the universe halfway, you can come imperfect. You can come unhealed. You can come with a little baggage. It doesn't matter, because there's this other half of the equation that, boom, can light the way. And before I go, my friends, I have a gift, an offering for you. It's a free 5-minute morning routine that I do myself. It's called Kundalini Yoga Punches. It's an extremely awesome way to get into your flow state in only a few minutes. It takes just a few minutes. And there's a video I made that I walk you through it. It's one of my favorites. It's free. There's no strings attached. You can click down below if you want to check it out. It's just things like this have really made a difference in my life and helped me go forward and be productive and take action on my inspirations and sort of take all those doubts and put them on a back burner, at least for a little while, so I can get things done. It's been really helpful to me, and I hope it serves you as well. Again, just click down below if you want to check it out. It's free. And with that said, I'm going to say peace, love, and namaste.